We're thrilled to be joined by the first member of the Guardians to join us this season. He's had a tremendous start to his major league career. Erik Sabrowski is with us. Erik, how are you, man? Thank you for joining us.
No problem, guys. I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, I know you spoke with my buddy Zach Meisel earlier. You were checking us out, seeing if we knew what the hell we were talking about when it came to baseball. Did he give you a good...
Still not quite sure you do, but that's okay.
Well, first of all, let's start with this. As a player on the team, with what went on last night, you're like, I know, I say, superstition, it's silly, but I know baseball players are very superstitious. In the bullpen, you're not discussing what's going on, are you, or are you? I don't know, without saying the word.
No, not at all. But it's the biggest elephant in the room there can be, right?
Yeah.
You know, we get to watch the game on the TV feed, and I think it was after, was it the sixth inning is when they threw up no-hitter alert kind of thing, and we're all just sitting there like, we all know what's happening. No one say anything about it, and you know, it was a really special performance. It's too bad couldn't get it to the finish line, but I mean, 8 innings against a lineup like that was special.
What makes him so good, Erik?
He's not scared. Like, he just he trusts his stuff. We were talking about just like the dog he has in him. Like, he's not scared. It doesn't matter who you are. You saw what he did against the Dodgers in LA. Again, lineup like Baltimore's, like he just trusts his stuff, and he makes you have to put it in play. And last night, you know, he was hitting his spots as well.
We talked about earlier in the show the difference, and we talked about specifically with K. Smith and the difference between being a setup guy and being a closer. In your opinion, is it that much of a difference? Is there a different approach? Is it a different mental preparation? What goes into being a setup guy and then trying to transition that to being a great closer as well?
I think, you know, people talk about pitching in the playoffs is harder. And I think what makes it harder in the playoffs is no one wants to be that last out. Everyone wants to kind of, you know, start the rally. And the same can be said about the 9th inning in the regular season, right? No one wants to make the last out. Everyone wants to get the rally started. So it's not like guys aren't locked in for at-bats, you know, in the 6th, 7th, 8th innings, but I think they're just that much more locked in the 9th, and I think that's why, you know, why being a closer is so tough, and why a lot of those guys get paid so much money. And it's it's tough to throw in the 9th. I mean, in the minor leagues, I've gotten to throw in the 9th a couple times, and I don't think it's gone great yet. And it's just different. It's just different air in the 9th inning.
For those who don't know, Erik's got a pretty amazing story on his journey to the big leagues. And I believe it's over a part of it was COVID. Obviously, there was no minor league season. But from the time you were drafted by the Padres in 2018, you eventually end up with the Guardians in the minor league phase of the Rule 5 draft. I believe you pitched 20 innings over a 5-year stretch, and you thought about hanging it up. Is that not true?
Yeah, some like 20 innings, and yeah, it was... in the middle of that second rehab, things were going so well, and I was like, I don't know if I love rehabbing as much as it'll take to get back. And it was tough, but you know, I got a great support staff, my wife, some of my good friends, and we kind of all just agreed, hey man, you'd be giving up a little short if you hung it up right now.
And I'm sure you are, but we as fans are very happy you did not give it up, because since coming to the big leagues, you've been, I don't know, I mean, I'm sure you realize, but you've really been one of the best relief pitchers in baseball. I mean, we had a stat the other day. I can't remember the exact, do you have that stat?
I will pull it up. I have it. Yes.
There was some stat the other day. I know you gave up a couple of runs recently, but before that performance, there was a stat where you were one of only like 3 pitchers in the history of baseball to have certain numbers after like 30 appearances or whatever it is. It was some random stat, but you were there with like just a couple of other great players, and like the numbers you've put up to start your career are remarkable. How have you done it?
Well, thank you. I mean, you can cherry pick a lot of stats, make a lot of people look good, but it's just kind of along the lines of, I guess, what Parker's doing, just trusting my stuff, knowing that I have what it takes to pitch in this league, and just, for me, it all comes down to just throwing strikes. If I'm throwing strikes, I'm effective. Yeah, you're right. Gave a couple runs the other day. Those guys get paid a lot of money to get hits off me too. Sometimes that's just the way it works out. But yeah, just throwing strikes and getting ahead of hitters. And I'm pretty fortunate that I got some decent put away stuff, and it works out from there.
So this is crazy. So you saying that you said you was gonna hang it up? Like, what is that conversation like with your wife? Like, yeah, pitching, that's not for me. What the heck was you gonna do? What did you have a plan? What was going to be your profession if you said you was gonna hang it up and said I can't go through the rehab?
I've always thought, well, when I was younger, I always thought I was going to be a teacher of some sort. Back home in Canada, we got a course called Social Studies, kind of just learn about the world and geography and things like that. And I'm interested in that stuff, and I thought that was going to be my fallback plan.
Social studies teacher, man, that's a heck of a plan.
Yeah. Not making as much money as a baseball player.
But they do got free health care in Canada, so you'd have been straight.
Canada does most things better than us right now, let's face it. Go ahead.
Eric, I don't know if you saw, they had a bio card up on you, and they said your nickname was Sour, but we have a tendency.
Yeah, this is on his. I don't know. It's on his baseball reference
we
page.
have a tendency of taking things off baseball reference that are not true. Have you ever heard of the nickname Sour before? Is that really your nickname?
It is.
Okay.
It
All
is.
right. So what's the story behind that?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, you rehab for 5 years. You're not always in the best mood, and I had a tendency to be a little grumpy from time to time, and I think just people kind of made fun of the fact that that's not really me. I'm more of a happy-go-lucky guy, but so. You get those occasional days where you're just a little grumpy, and I think just Sour kind of worked out.
I can relate. They say the same thing about me, and I'm a very pleasant guy.
And Jason never had to do no rehab. He just like that.
Did you get that nickname because you were ticked that the U.S. beat Canada in hockey, which had to be pretty brutal?
Great ball. I appreciate your time.
I'm still surprised by that one, but that was tough.
Yeah.
Did the players? I know Bo Naylor, obviously, also from Canada. Did you get a hard time from the guys about that?
Yeah, that was tough. We were in the locker room in Goodyear, and there was a lot of hockey fans for a day. I'll say that
much. It sounds about right. There's a lot of hockey fans here for a day, too.
That's
myself
true.
Included. Eric, the stat we were talking about, by the way, I'm sure you've seen this if you haven't. You became, last week, the first pitcher in MLB history to record 70-plus strikeouts and 8 or fewer runs allowed in their first 47 games pitched in their career. So an elusive one-of-one category owned by
I was saying 3, but it was just 1.
No, just 1.
Yeah.
The other stat was the Parker Messick stat and the Gavin Williams
stat. Oh,
stat.
that's right.
But the question I had for you, Eric, is we had heard from some sources inside the clubhouse who you know that outside of Austin Hedges, you're the biggest trash talker on the team.
Really?
Is that true? And if so, who gives you the most crap back?
I don't know if it's trash talker as much as just talker in general.
Okay.
I got a motor on. Hedgie loves to give it back to me. Festa keeps me in check all the time. Me and Gaddis go back and forth. We're a lively bunch. I'll say that much.
I had a buddy I grew up with who pitched in the majors for a couple of years. His name was Jerry Vasto. Was a in and out reliever, never really stuck, but he was the bullpen energy guy. He was the one who was there to kind of keep guys loose and make sure no one got too uptight in certain situations. Is that your role? Obviously, I love you, Jerry, but you're a much better pitcher than Jerry ever was. Is that kind of your role here, Eric, in the ecosystem of the Guardians bullpen?
I don't think there's one guy with that role. I named a few bullpen guys earlier. Yeah. We all try and keep it loose, and we just like to have fun out there. It's any given day, any guy could be kind of the ringleader of the shenanigans out there.
What do you talk about? It has to
Oh,
be
it's
horribly
crazy.
boring.
I
What do you talk about out there?
We what was it, that Artemis launch last week? It's been a big point of discussion. Did we actually go to the moon or not? Has been
Oh
brought
my
up.
God! I knew there had to be at least one guy in there that thought that.
With a straight face,
I'm
going
firmly
hard.
on. Yes, we did go to the moon.
Thank you.
Well, that's because he's
I
Canadian.
won't
They're a
name,
little
I won't
smarter
name
than
the
we
guys
are.
who are on the other side of it. Couple.
Yeah.
One of our bullpen catchers has some strong opinions. But we like to keep it light. First couple innings, we're just messing around. Play some trivia games of sort. Just trying to talk about anything but baseball. But once the third inning's over, it's the switch is flipped and it's go time for us. Yeah.
So I've always wondered this too. When there's a fight and there's a brawl,
Oh yeah. There was yesterday.
and the bullpen doors swing open, and you guys got to come running out because if you don't, you're going to get yelled at. But by the time you get there, it's over. So, like, are you sitting there going, "Oh my God, here we go again. We got to go out there for absolutely no reason." What's that like when the door swings open and you got to run out on the field for a fight that you're not going to have any part in?
Well, I haven't been a part of one of those in the big leagues yet.
Oh, really?
But-
In the minors?
In the minors, yes, in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Those Akron and Harrisburg, we didn't get along too well.
Yeah.
So there was, I think, 2 of those. But I mean, free TV time, right? Get show off the wheel, get out there. You're right. We're not going to be involved in anything, but get a couple sprints in and get loose for the game, right?
Did you see the one yesterday at the end of the game with the Giants and was it the Reds, I think?
Yes, I did see that.
Yep.
I did see that. Was it Eric Miller punched aside and talked his talk? Good for him.
Yeah, to Sal Stewart of
For him.
the Reds. That got pretty. By the way, I was in attendance for one of the greatest minor league brawls of all time. It was in the now defunct, they're not around anymore, Batavia Muck Dogs of the New York Penn League.
Here we go with another Batavia story.
But it's a great story, real quick, because Eric will appreciate this. We were playing
Sure.
the Williamsport Crosscutters. We were the Phillies minor league affiliate. They were the Pirates minor league affiliate. And Marlon Byrd, longtime major leaguer, he's not around anymore, but I'm sure you probably heard of him.
He's alive.
Outfield, huge dude. He played football at Georgia.
Not with us.
He played football at Georgia. Huge dude. There was a crazy brawl. The managers squared up and were literally boxing each other. Okay, and Marlon Byrd, who looked like a football player, chased this little guy on the Pirates who never made it to the big leagues. Chased him down the first baseline, and the Pirate kid ran into the clubhouse to get away from him. I've never seen anything like it.
Did you call it from the toilet?
I did not call that. I did play-by-play once from the toilet, Eric. That's what they're referencing. I was doing the game by myself. You got to keep the broadcast going. But what would you think of a teammate who ran away from a player and ran into the locker room to get away from him? Would he never hear the end of that?
I mean, there's some big dudes out there. Sometimes you got to protect yourself, right?
Yeah.
The
I guess
guy-
if Aaron
sounds like
Judge
the guy
were
made a
coming
good
after you,
business
you'd be a little
decision.
nervous, right?
I might be in the clubhouse too. Yeah. I'm hoping Hedgie's right behind him. Hedgie or Bo or Fry. I'm
Is
hoping
he-
someone's right behind him.
Is Hedgie the guy you want? Like if you're getting into a fight, say you're in a dark alley, whatever reason you're walking in a dark alley, I don't know why you'd be doing that, but if you were and two guys square up against you, who's the teammate you got to have with you? Gaddis maybe? Hedges?
Jose Ramirez.
You know the
Jose,
answer.
yeah, don't mess with
Yeah,
Jose.
There it is. There's one of my teammates has shown out on TV. That's
Good
how-
point. I don't know how I
think I
got
want
that.
to-
That's a good point.
Yeah.
He has.
Let's face it, Tim Anderson's career ended that day.
What was the locker room like after that game, Eric?
Well, Eric wasn't here.
I wasn't there. I wasn't there. I
Damn
was
it,
watching it on
my
TV.
fault. My fault.
Yeah, that.
No worries.
But as a player, and now that you know him, what was that like? Seeing that and what's he like in general? Because obviously
And clear up something that he actually speaks really well English. Really good English.
Oh, he does in the locker room. We know that.
We know he speaks good English, but a couple guys on cast were blown away when I said, "Oh yeah, he speaks English all the time."
But
He speaks it just
what
fine.
was that like as just watching it, and then what's he like as a teammate?
Well, I didn't really know him too well when that happened, but just knowing him now, like, he respects the game of baseball. He respects his teammates. If he feels like he wronged you or you wronged him, kind of there's your answer. Hosey's the best. He's just every day. He's excited to be at the field. He's talking smack to his teammates. He's picking guys up. He's leading the charge for us. Like, it's if they haven't started building the statue, I don't know what they're waiting for. He's special. He's a special teammate.
Funniest teammate. Who's your funniest teammate?
Bo Naylor.
Bo Naylor.
Really?
Bo Naylor.
All
Because
right.
he does pick on Hedgie, and that gets a good ruse out of the guys.
Okay. Who's the? Go ahead.
He's witty. He's witty.
Okay.
That's where he gets him.
Best dressed teammate.
Matt Festa.
Okay.
Especially after the WBC with Italy, he was coming back in a couple suits and
Nice.
good looking dude. Good looking clothes.
And who is the best fantasy football player on the Guardians?
Not Austin Hedges. Anyone but him.
And
Anyone but him.
anyone but Hedges. And finally, in an eating contest, who you taking of your teammates? Who's the best eater?
Joey Cantillo.
That's a surprise.
That guy can-
But it's always the skinny guys. The skinny guys always win these eating contests. It's never, not that there's any
He
fat
can
guys.
put it back. He's always talking about food. He's
Yeah.
always thinking about his next big time meal. It's
Nice.
absolutely him.
And finally, we got to do this. Who's the cheapest teammate?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if
Who's
he
the
wants to call
cheapest?
him out, but
They ain't spending no money on nobody.
yeah, who's hitting you up to pay the bills all the time?
You're making me do that to someone, huh?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
No comment.
Good answer.
Hey, Eric, we really appreciate you taking the time to hang with us today. It's a pleasure watching you pitch. Keep up the great work. We're rooting for you guys. Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate you.
Hey, thanks for having me, boys. Appreciate you taking a break from talking about the Browns.